What's up, y'all? So this is going to be a reaction to Philip's video that he had with Aiden. Basically, he was saying that he had to take off of work, or he did take off of work because Aiden had been having issues at the daycare center, and he was like concerned as to what the issues were, and he was trying to see what he could do to try to help little man, with his behavior and see what was going on with him because he got put out of daycare, I guess. So we had been informed by his mother that she had been having issues with his transition and when she would drop him off. But let's just be very clear. Jasmine is one of those mothers that's going to drop her kids off bright and early in the morning, right when they open, and she's going to be there right when they close, not a minute before. You understand me? Because she don't want to have to deal with those kids. That's the type of mother she is. So anytime that daycare center opened up, whether the teacher was there for Aiden and Ava, she just dropped them off and left them there. And they had to go off of the room with other children that were not of their peers, which caused him to react in a way that, is concerning, or he was crying, or his behavior. You know what I'm saying? He's frustrated because he's not able to express himself like he wants to. And his mother's well aware of that. She has been told that she needed to go get him some help, but she refuses to do so. So he's having problems with expressing himself because he needs to be further evaluated. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say what his diagnosis is, but what I can say is that I see signs of autism because I have autistic kids. And that if he gets evaluated, just so if he does need some help, that she can get the help that he needs, she doesn't want to have to deal with that. So she's trying her very best to avoid that by any means, because she doesn't have time for therapy. She don't want to have to invest her time in that because she feels like she has better things to do. It's not mopping her floors, I can tell you that. It's not making sure that her kids don't get COVID. It's not making sure that they're doing good in school, they're thriving. Because if that was the case, he wouldn't be getting put out of daycare. So just imagine, once he starts school, she's going to be getting called every single day. And with them people not knowing whatever his situation may be, they will label him, and he will eventually get put out of school. So why would you want to deal with that? Why would you want to put up with that? Why would you want to make it seem like he's a problem child, as if like he cannot be helped? He can be helped if you get him the help. That's the only way he's going to receive it. Nobody's going to care or advocate for your child unless you do. Unless these parents right here, Philip and Jasmine, has to advocate for Aiden in order for Aiden to be able to make it. Or he's going to be labeled. He's going to be kicked out, and he's going to be labeled as a problem child. Jasmine has seen his behavior. She doesn't want to deal with it, so she feels like pushing him off to the side and saying, oh, he needs to go with his daddy is going to make him better. No, he needs some help. And until she decides to put her pride aside and go get it for him so that he can thrive, he would never thrive and get better in the future for his life. He will never. I'm just saying. How does she expect for him to be better if nobody is able to help him in the way that he needs to be helped? He's not going to get the help. Why would you wait for somebody to tell you that you need to go get him evaluated because it's a possibility that he might have some type of developmental delays? And we can all see that. But she don't want to see it. She does see it. And she has made this statement before, and I have to keep mentioning this. She said, well, I've worked around kids with special needs, so I think I would know if my kids had special needs. No, you don't know. Apparently, because if you did, you wouldn't be allowing your kid to be struggling and not be able to communicate. And you wouldn't be allowing his behavior to be the way that it is, because you would get that checked so that he can get evaluated. I mean, I'm just saying, how could you not love your kid enough to make sure that they're going to thrive and be good in life? Why would you want to put more stress on yourself? You always claiming how tired you are, but yet you can't see to it that your kid get what he needs to thrive, to be great. You don't want to deal with him. So why don't you get him the help? So then that way the people could help him. If you don't want to do it, let them do it. Don't push him off or put him off to be nothing or labeled. That's what the problem is now. A lot of black boys get labeled for something in this world. And that's because you have parents that if they see that something is wrong with them, they don't try to get the help that they know that they need. They just say, oh, he'll grow out, or he'll be all right, or she'll be all right. And you can't just say that because you don't know if that's the case or not. You allowing your child to struggle and have to go throughout life not knowing how to do this and how to do that the correct way because you didn't get them the help that they needed to thrive. That's what specialists is for. That's what you reach. You reach out to people. If you don't know, you find out. You research. You Google stuff. There's no way I could sit there and look at my child struggling to communicate and have the behavior that he have, knowing that people are going to label him and call him bad. Because that's the first thing they're going to say is that, his behavior is this and that. But really and truly, no, he's just misunderstood because he is not getting the help that he actually really needs. He's not being accommodated. He's not. And he can't be accommodated for something if they don't know nothing about it. If she's not advocating for him, if she's not letting the pediatrician know that he's struggling here in this area, he's struggling there, then okay, he's not going to get the help that he needs. Now, she's saying something about the kids specialists or whatever, the therapists that they've been seeing. I haven't been seeing them going to no therapy or having no specialists going there. Ever since she said that woman left and that the therapist was changing, I have not seen no therapist since then. Not one in sight. Now all of a sudden she wants to talk about the daycare expenses or whatever and how they're so expensive. Oh, and how she has to pay a lump sum of money. Like we don't all know that daycare is expensive. Okay, well, you don't want one of them off in there. So if you want your kids to participate in something or be a part of something or in something, you got to pay for that. It's a cost. It's a price for that. So that means you got to pay it. Why stress that or say anything about it? It's the dumb shit for me. It just doesn't make any sense. And then he's saying that he has to take off of work to see what's going on with his son. And then he acts like he don't know what's going on with him either. I mean, you can't just label him as bad and tell him, oh, well, he's going to have to do this and then I'm not going to be able to get called off of work. So he's going to have to get up. He's going to have to get his act together. Well, y'all need to get him the help that he needs in order for him to get his act together or y'all will be getting called off of work and have to go pick him up from school because nobody's going to sit up there and tolerate that type of behavior and not know what's wrong with him. And then they're going to be asking questions as to how come, if y'all been noticing this behavior, how come y'all haven't gotten the help that he needed? This is not something that just started. This had to be something that's been going on for some time now. So why hasn't his needs been met? Why is his needs being neglected by both parents? Not just one, both. Not just Jasmine, but Philip too. If you going to be involved in his life, don't just be taking off of work trying to chastise him, tell him what he need to do. No, you need to see who you need to talk to get him some type of help. If he needs some help, especially if you know you already have a special needs child, why wouldn't you think that why wouldn't you think that it wouldn't be smart for you to go see and seek some type of help to see if he need to be further evaluated to see if he has autism as well? I mean, I just don't understand how come these people don't have the sense that God gave them. I mean, it just seems like they just trying to just throw it off to the side. Like these kids are not asked to be here. Y'all brought these kids and then y'all don't want to do what y'all supposed to do as parents. And that's just very piss poor. I'm not going to give him no kudo points at all whatsoever. He might be better with them as far as communicating with them when they're around him. But I mean, come on, you can't turn the blind eye to your son and just label him as bad or let somebody else label him and you go along with it. That's the problem too. You got a lot of parents that are willing to go along with what people say about their own children and just go along with it. Not trying to see what the problem could be or, investigate it to see, ask their children or, pick up on behaviors or something like that. You never know what could be going on with your child as to why your child is acting a certain way. So why would you just go off of what somebody is telling you? You need to ask questions. Well, why was he doing this? When did he do this? Why all of a sudden, ask questions. Don't just let somebody tell you, well, I'm having this issue with your son. Your son is doing this, that, and the third, but can't tell you, come on now. You would think that these people would think about this type of stuff, especially when both of these people, not only does Jasmine have a sister with autism, Philip has a son with autism with some type of special needs. So you would think that they would want to get this boy further evaluated because his behavior is not normal like it's supposed to be. But no, they want to turn a blind eye to it because they don't want to deal with it because Philip wants to live his life and do what he wants to do. And then Jasmine just wants to get rid of the kids. You know what I'm saying? She's just trying to find any type of way to get rid of them, but every time she tries to get rid of them, it backfires on her ass and they have to end up being right back there at that house with her, like with this COVID shit. You know what I'm saying? So he's not doing good off in therapy. He's not doing good off in daycare because, for one, he has a problem with expressing himself. And then when he gets frustrated, he acts out in ways that he shouldn't act out because he doesn't know how to communicate. And she knows that. But she rather for somebody else to deal with her child than herself. So therefore, she tries to act like his behavior is just, oh, well, basically like, oh, he just need to be around his dad. No, you need to go get him some help. Both of y'all need to go get him some help. Both of y'all need to go get that boy some help so that he can thrive and be good and be great in life. There's no reason or no, I'm sorry, y'all, that y'all hear that. They out there cutting the yard. So, but anyways, back to what I was saying. There's no reason why this boy should be going through life struggling when he has two parents that can see to it that he gets the help that he needs. His mother needs to tell the pediatrician that he needs to be further evaluated because she feels as if something is going on. Because if not, he's going to have issues. You're going to get called off of your job, Philip. Jasmine is going to be called while she's sitting at home, not doing nothing, not mopping no floors, not cleaning up nothing, not helping Legendary sit up, not trying to teach him the milestones that he's supposed to be reaching. They're going to be calling her to get on up there to come pick him up because they're not going to deal with that, not knowing what his problem is. And they're going to be concerned. And they might just reach out to the people that they need to reach out to see to it that Aiden gets what he needs because he's been neglected, because he's not being able to thrive, because his mother and his father is not getting him what he needs. And it's not his fault that he's acting out at daycare. It's not his fault that he having those type of experiences. He having bad experiences. So if he's having these experiences off in daycare, he's definitely going to have them off in school when he goes to school. There's no way that he's going to make it throughout the first week without them having concerns, pulling you off in the office to see what's actually going on with him. Because he can't go to school hitting people. He can't go to school biting people or kicking people. He can't go to school screaming at the top of his lungs and crying and all of that because they're not going to, they're not going to deal with that. If they don't know that something is wrong with him, then they're going to be thinking like, okay, what's really going on in your home? Then it's going to be something else. It's going to be a totally different situation. And this is for you, Jasmine, or Philip, both of y'all. They're going to be wondering what's going on. Because if this is not documented that he's having these issues and this is something that y'all experience on the day-to-day, then they're going to be wondering why the pediatrician has not been told this, so then that he could give y'all the resources that y'all need to follow up on to see to it that little Aiden gets what he needs. That's the only way he can get it. If you don't advocate for your children, nobody else will. You got to understand, that's not their kid. That's your kid. So if you want your kid to make it throughout life and be good, be great, and be able to make it, then you got to see to it as the parent. You can't just put it off on these teachers and off on these therapists to do their job. You got to do your job as a parent because it really starts at home. And if you ain't doing shit at home, if nobody's trying to see to it that these kids is reaching their milestones when they're supposed to, then they're going to be extremely delayed. And then about time somebody do get a hold to them, it's gonna take a lot of work. But I'm not saying that it cannot be done, because it can be done as long as it's consistent. It can be done. But what I'm saying is, why let it go that far? If you really love your children like you say you do, then you're going to do what you're supposed to when it comes to them. When it pertains to them, you're going to do all that you're supposed to do. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you want to, if you don't want to. The thing of it is, with these parents, they want to be in denial. No, I'm not going to even give them that. I don't believe that it's any type of denial. They don't want to have to deal with it. That comes with a lot. Believe me, I know. But as a parent, I love my children. So I would never say that that's too much for me to have to do or handle. I'm going to do whatever I'm supposed to do and whatever I need to make sure that they make it. Because that's my job as their parent. They didn't ask to be here. And if I feel like I'm struggling in the area, I'm going to get the resources I need to help me so that I don't struggle in that area. And so that my kids don't struggle in whatever area that they need help with. It's not hard. It's only hard if you make it. But if you want to turn the blind eye to your kids struggling and not being able to communicate, and their behaviors is a little off, then I don't know what to tell you. I just don't think it makes any sense. So both of them need to get him some help. Especially Jasmine. She's with him all the time, 24/7. So therefore, yes, she needs to be seeing to it that his pediatrician is aware of what she's been dealing with. Stop lying when you be filling out those milestones, because they give you milestone papers to fill out Every time your child goes to a doctor's appointment, there's milestones that your child is supposed to be reaching. And if that child is not reaching those milestones, you're supposed to speak up and say something. If you choose not to say something, then that doctor is not going to know that you need any help or that child need any help. And they're not going to give you any resources. So you're going to be just dealing with whatever you're dealing with until it gets out of hand. And then it gets to the people that you don't want it to get to, like CPS. And then you're going to be feeling some type of way. Because as mandated reporters, they have to report that because that's negligence. That's neglect. They're going to look at him and know that behavior is not something that just started overnight. They're going to be wondering what's really going on with him. If he doesn't have any issues to where he could have autism or ADHD or anything like that or sensory problems, they're going to be trying to figure out what else other issues that he may be having that causes him to have those type of behaviors. So you have to understand that. Not only Jasmine, but Philip, you too. Like seriously, this is something that they're really going to have to deal with. And as a parent with children with autism, I'm not going to play about my children. I don't know about nobody else and I can't speak for nobody else. All I know is that whatever services that my children need, they're going to get it. I'm going to make sure they're rendered to them. Do you understand me? Like, I'm not going to sit here and watch my kids struggle throughout life and just be like, oh, well, I don't want to deal with it. It's too much. No, it's not too much for me at all because I'm going to make sure that they get what they need. So then that way, life could be easy for me. I'm not trying to make it hard for me. It's hard enough knowing that my kids is having to go through the little struggles that they have to go through. But I know that God will make a way for my children and they'll be okay. I don't have to worry about that. So I'm not. I done been down the road of being in denial and all of that. But I done got past that because you know what? Being in denial is not going to help them. Being in denial is not going to help Aiden at all. He's going to be getting labeled, getting put out, and that's not something that you should want your kid to have to go through. That's like having traumatic experiences. Like everywhere I go, I'm not wanted or something, or because I'm different or whatever, and I just don't understand. I'm frustrated. I can't express myself. I can't communicate. My behaviors is a little different from the other children. Like he doesn't understand any of those things. He's just 4 years old. So as the parents, getting help from him is what he needs. I mean, damn. It's not that hard.